Hey, what's up, everyone? So today we're gonna do something a little bit different than normal. I've had a couple of people asking me about loadouts. So we're gonna do that. That's how we're gonna go ahead and start today. Also to start today, we've got another one of the raised flavors. It's the sour gummy worms. Um, I was actually pretty surprised at how much this actually tastes like sour gummy worms. So if you all like them, go check them out. Raise Energy, sour gummy worms, zero sugar, all types of stuff. Really good. Um, this video is gonna have a lot of cuts in it because I'm basically gonna go through each gun that I've got to gold and show what attachments I prefer on it, and then go on to the next one. Um, This might even be broke up into two parts. I don't know yet. It depends on how long everything takes. So the first one we're going to do is some of my preloads that I've got for Warzone set up. So this is my MP7. This is my baby. This is by far my favorite gun in the entire game. um, the reason why it has the platinum and the purple on it is because I have the purple tracer round blueprint on it, and that purple actually comes through on the platinum. Absolutely gorgeous gun, hits fantastic, especially in in the Warzone side of it. Its fire rate and its accuracy are just anything close to mid range. You're just gonna melt it before they even know what's going on. So, my favorite attachments to use on it are the monolithic suppressor, the FFS Recon, the Commando foregrip, the 60 round mags, and for Warzone I run fully loaded. If I'm running multiplayer, I'll change up fully loaded to like triple grip tape or something along those lines, make it a little bit faster, but I mean it's already fast enough as is. The second one in this class is my AX50. This is my loadout build for if I'm trying to snipe in Warzone. I don't try to go for the super long snipes because I'm never really sitting in one area for too long. I need something to hit accurately on the top of roofs that I can, pull out rather quickly and be able to aim rather quickly. So, the monolithic suppressor for the extra damage range and for sound suppression, the 17-inch barrel to make it a little bit faster, the tack laser to make it a little bit faster. I just run the standard optic on it, works just fine. I've got the Singarm Arms Assassin on there. It helps up your ADS speed. And then it's triple grip tape. Besides the Car 98, this is the fastest sniper loadout build that I have that has a full-blown scope on it. And if you're ever like trying to do multiplayer quick scopes with the AX50, on this build I have basically the same build except for I'm using the VLK 3-time optic, the 17-inch barrel, the tack laser, the Singarm Arms Assassin, and the triple grip tape. When I'm sniping on multiplayer, I don't really care if people can hear me. I'm trying to get people to come my way because I'm quick scoping. The only thing I would change if you're not very comfortable with quick scoping is changing this out to maybe sleight of hand. Take a little bit of the speed off and make your reload speed a little bit faster. But past that, like it's a very solid build all the way around. The next one that we are going to jump into is going to be the M4A1. This was one of my favorite guns right out the gate. Absolutely love this build. It's rocking the monolithic suppressor, the stock M16. Just absolutely shreds. The Commando foregrip helps keep it nice and solid. If you are not used to the recoil and you're trying to do more medium range to really long range, maybe change it out to the Ranger foregrip. But past that, I wouldn't really change anything. 60 round mags and the integral hybrid. This is more for if every encounter that we're hitting that day is more at a longer distance. I run the commando on it just for that medium to medium long range. If you want to change it up though, you could take the integral hybrid off and put on like no stock, which will make it extremely quick. Where you can change the perk out to fully loaded. But this one, it's got the designs and everything because I have the pink tracer round blueprint on it as well. I like the tracer rounds, just a preference thing. I know it gives away my position, but generally whenever I'm playing, I'm trying to get as many people to know where I am as possible. If I'm not, then I'm generally rocking my snipers. So this is a sniper that I have with this one. It's the HDR. The F-Tac Stalker Scout increases your ADS speed. I learned that the absolute fastest barrel on this gun is its factory barrel. Any of the other ones actually slow down its ADS speed quite a bit. So instead of using a barrel, I'm rocking the tac laser, the monolithic suppressor. For this one, this is more for if we're having to deal with a bunch of people on roofs. So this 9-round mags make it just a beast. And in all honesty, it doesn't really increase its ADS speed all that much. Like, I mean, it's kind of noticeable. And if you don't want an increase on the ADS speed at all, the 7-round mag actually reduces a lot. Like, it literally stays right the same mobility. But you could check the mobility. Like, it doesn't really drop it all that much. So that's what I prefer to use. And then sleight of hand for this. Because since it is a little bit slower, I prefer to have a faster reload on it. And I hate using the bipod. So that's just where my preferences are. The next one we're going to get into is the Graw. Now, for those of you that have used the Graw, I know a lot of you all have used a lot of different variants of it. This is just my preferred one. This thing just shreds, and it's accurate as no get out. It has a monolithic suppressor on it. It has the FFS 20.8 Nexus, the VLK 3-time optic, the Cronin Shark 2, and the 50-round mags. This gun is also just an absolute beast. The first gun I ever got to gold was the MP7, which was what pushed me to start wanting to do this. But now that we have gone through all of those, we are going to start getting into some of the others. So I am going to start cutting this intermittently throughout it, and we're going to do custom loadout builds. So now we're going to run into the second gun that I ever got gold, which was the AUG. The AUG was one of those, when I first started off with it, I felt it was absolute trash. But as I got further into it, I realized that as you get more attachments for it, this thing actually becomes pretty OP. So for this one, I ran the monolithic suppressor. I also ran the 407mm extended barrel, because anybody who's used the AUG knows that the shorter barrels, once you start reaching medium range, it just takes too many bullets, in all honesty, to kill. So I didn't want the full 622, but I also didn't want the lightweight. I wanted to have the recoil control, I wanted to have extra damage range, and I wanted to have the bullet velocity. So my accuracy is majorly increased, damage is increased, range is increased. The fire rate decreases just a hair, and the mobility and control are still pretty well balanced. So that's what I like about this build. The Commando foregrip also adds to the recoil stabilization. It also adds to aiming stability, so you're not all over the place with it. I also have the 5.56 NATO 60-round drums. Those are an essential if you're using this gun. The 30 round mag, I mean, you can make it work, but if you come up on 2 or 3 people, you're gonna die. I always suggest using the drum and then the triple grip tape. Now, if you're running this in Warzone and you're not worried about being able to pull your gun as quickly and you'd rather be able to reload this bad boy faster, I would always suggest sleight of hand. But past that, it's a very well-rounded build. And I mean, you could tell it dropped just a hair on some of these, but it balanced it pretty well all the way through. So it's a really fun gun to use. Also, if you have issues with using the hard sights on it, switch out your triple grip tape and put whatever optic you prefer. But that is the AUG, and now we're running into the P90. Now the P90, I do have the pack for this one as well because it came with the M4A1. This is a fun gun to use, especially if you're running hardcore. I know a lot of people don't like the Forge Attack Retribution, but if you're going for medium, long range at all, I definitely suggest using it. The monolithic suppressor, always underbarrels, triple grip tape, other underbarrels, triple grip tape, and then the fly strap. Now I will say for this gun, its recoil isn't too bad when you put all of these on, but it does have a little extra recoil, so if you realize you're having issues with keeping it stable, just change it to the granulated grip tape or the rubberized. Either one will help quite a bit. But I also learned for this one, the sleight of hand doesn't really make that much of a difference, so I don't even use it. So if you're going to run anything with this, I'd run fully loaded for Warzone, things like that. But past that, it's a pretty well-rounded build all on its own. And you can see how bad the accuracy, the damage itself isn't that great, but the fire rate is just insane. And this increased the range to just at where the accuracy was before the buff. And then your mobility and your controller is still really high up there as well. So like I said, very, very well-rounded build. And it just melts. So there's 2 more for you. We're going to go back in and grab the next 2 and keep it going. So for the next 2 we are going to go over the MP5 and the Uzi. I will say right now, this MP5 build that I have set up right here is one of the nastiest setups I think I've ever played with. If you're looking for a good, powerful SMG, this is it right here. Running the integral monolithic suppressor barrel on it. The operator foregrip, 45 round mags, the triple grip tape, and the Forge Attack ultralight. This thing is just nasty. It locks on. I've got some nasty plays. There's actually a video, couple videos prior to this, that is me finishing up the MP5, getting it to gold. And some of the plays that I was getting with it are just disgusting. But yeah, this is one of my favorite builds that I have for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The second one on the list for this is the Uzi. I ran it. I had my fun with it. I will never run it again. Don't know why it has the thermal on it. That is not at all what we used. We actually used the VLK 3-time optic. As you all could tell, if I run an optic, this is one of my favorite ones to use, or the integral hybrid. But the monolithic suppressor on it, the Ranger foregrip, the 41 AE 32 round mags, and the sleight of hand. This is what I use to get up to platinum, because the issues I was having, this was the last gun we ended up doing for the SMGs, and I was dreading this gun. I know a lot of people like it. It's just not my gun. This was the only setup that I was able to use to really be able to get through to actually get the long shots and everything. And even then, like, its damage range was kind of there. But a lot of the kills I had to go ahead and do mounted kills for because the recoil was too bad. But that's the build for it. I'm not a fan of it. If you are, kudos to you, but it's just not my favorite. But yeah, that's the MP5 and the Uzi. Now we're going to jump in and grab the next two. So here we go. So for these next two, we are at the end of the SMGs, because I haven't finished out the Striker 45 or the Fennec yet, but I'm not really that worried about those. So the first one we're going to get into is the Bison. Now this one surprised me. This one I didn't think I'd like as much as I did. But once I finally got some levels into it and I got the monolithic suppressor, the 8.7 steel, the 84 round helical mags, the triple grip tape, and the sleight of hand, like, this thing is a beast. But I will let you know, when you are doing this gun, the vein of your existence is going to be shortly after reloading. Because you don't think about it with this gun. You start off with 84 rounds in your magazine and you could just start mowing through people. So you have to make a point to actually pay attention to reloading after kills. Because if not, it'll take you just forever. But this is it. Stabby Crabby attached, of course. But yeah. I actually like this gun a lot more than I thought I ever would. But yeah, the next one we're going to get into is going to be the M91. Now, here we're changing things up a little bit. The SMGs you want to give a little bit more range, a little bit more power to. The LMGs, especially if you're playing multiplayer, you're even in Warzone, like, you don't need these things at full maximum capacity range. You just need more control over the range that they're already hitting. So for this, still run the monolithic suppressor, shorten the barrel down to the M91 infantry. It's going to increase your speed a decent amount from there. The Commando foregrip is going to give you that little bit extra control. The 150 round belt is, of course, the best way to use it. Because if you're already going to have to go through a full belt reload, you might as well get the most bang for your buck. It slows it down a little bit, so if you don't want to run the 150 round, you can run the 120 round, which you can see it increases the mobility a little bit and the control a little bit. But for that little bit there, I'd rather just run the 150 personally. And then running this triple grip tape on the back. If you need a sight for it because you're primarily using it for more medium and longer range, change it out to like the VLK 3-time optic or whatever sight you prefer. But you would just switch out your triple grip tape for an optic. It's not going to change it all that much. Like you can see any of them, like, it'll increase the range, increase the accuracy, but it also decreases the mobility and the control a little bit. So it just kind of depends on what your preferences are. So we're going to get into the next two, and I will see you in just a moment. So for our next two, we're going to start getting into the last of the marksman rifles that I've completed. I still got to do the Mark II carbine. I'm most of the way through it, though. I got to finish up the EBR, and I got to finish up the Drakenhof. So I've already shown you the HDR, the AX50. Now we're going to show you the Car 98. Go ahead and put the camo on it. So for here, this one is another really fun one to use. If you like quick scoping and you're playing primarily multiplayer, and especially like hardcore multiplayer, this is a fun gun to use. The monolithic suppressor, the Singarms Custom 25.1. If you want it to be a little bit faster, you can actually take this off. It'll actually completely reduce the barrel down to just factory length. Or you can go in and attach the 21.2. I prefer the 25.1 personally. I've got the tack laser equipped on it, the sniper scope, and sleight of hand. When you're using the sniper scope, you can't just do your full 5-round drop mag. So sleight of hand is a necessity if you're running like this. But yeah, that is the Kar 98. Very fun gun to use. Does a lot of damage. Very, very accurate. So the next one we're going to do is the 1911. If you all have seen in some of my other videos, the primary thing that I do for pistols is hardcore. So for this, I've got the monolithic suppressor, I've got the 1911 stalker, I've got the tack laser, the match grade trigger, and triple grip tape. If you're doing the shortly after reloaded, I would switch out triple grip tape to sleight of hand. But it's a very, very well-rounded gun to use, and it does a lot of damage very, very quickly. So those are the next two, and I do believe we only have 2 more to go before we are done. So we're just going to finish this out real quick. I'm going to set up the loadouts for the M19 and the Deagle, and we will wrap this up. So give me just 1 second. So since we can't set up a dual class for just pistols, we're just going to do this one at a time. So I have the Red Dwarf kit for this that comes with the red tracers on it. So that's why it has the name Red Dwarf on it. The attachments that I'm using for are the monolithic suppressor, the XRK V extended, the tack laser, the match grade trigger, and the 32 round mag. This just the same as the 1911, extremely, extremely deadly and hardcore. Very fun gun to use. And it also has a 32 round mag for it, which is insane for a pistol. So just like this one, if you're trying to do kills shortly after reloading, I would change out the magazine and put on sleight of hand. It forces you to reload more often, but very, very well-rounded gun, very fun to use in hardcore. Now I'm going to back out of this one, and we're going to set the Deagle real quick, so I'll be back in just a second. So if you all saw one of the last videos, we actually just finished up the Deagle literally a couple of days ago. So with the Deagle, this was my end setup that I had for it. We were running the monolithic suppressor, we were running the forged tack enforcer, the tack laser. I forgot to change the trigger over. We were actually running the match grade trigger and triple grip tape. This gun deals a lot of damage, but its fire rate is so slow that you have to play more defensive than aggressive, as opposed to the 1911 where you could just slide in and start spraying everybody. This thing takes a little while to fully cycle through. So you have to be a little bit more defensive with it, but we got some nasty plays with it the other day. But yeah, that is the Deagle setup. And that is the last of them. If y'all have any questions on certain builds, certain guns, want to see me do a certain gun, just let me know. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this. Later on today, we should be recording a video for finishing up the 357. And then the next video is going to be on the X16, and that is going to finish up all of the handguns. The only one we'll have left to do after that is going to be the Renetti, but the Renetti won't take very long at all because I've already got it up to level 45. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.